Thank you for staying with Republic TV. I'm Richa Sharma, and certain politicians and lobby has now raised questions over NCB's investigation into the cruise drug bust case. Now, there were allegations that no drugs were recovered in raids. Now, Republic has accessed some exclusive CCTV footage of the cruise from the day of the raids that show how officers raided rooms in the cruise. Here's the full inside story of the raids with the videos.
October 2nd, the NCB, acting on specific information, raided the cruise ship Cordelia. Leading the operation was NCB Zonal Director Sameer Wankhede, seen here at the NCB office on the night of the raid. Several videos have emerged so far, like this one, a long shot of the checking process. Or this video of the drug recoveries made on board during the raids. This video that was released a few days ago showed drugs being recovered from sanitary pads.
For the first time, Republic TV gets you the inside story of what really happened on 2nd of October in the cruise drug bust case. Top officers have now confirmed that Narcotics Control Bureau had sent 10 officers, which also included 5 CISF women officers who also acted as punch witnesses. There was specific information that passengers were actually carrying drugs with them. That's the reason why these 10 officers ducked the security and went directly inside the 6th and 3rd floor where they had information that few people were carrying banned substances. Seizure was made from these very rooms where the searches are being carried out, and CCTV footage that has now been accessed by Republic TV clearly shows these officers going inside the room and then carrying out the search, and the seizure was also made. We're given to understand 3 people, Munmun, Dhamecha, Nupur and Evan, from whom the seizure was made inside the cruise itself. And these are the CCTV footage of the very search and seizure that was carried out by the Narcotics Control Bureau.
Watch this video. 10 officers, including 5 CISF women officers, also punch witnesses, managed to duck the cruise security and entered the ship. In this CCTV video, they can be seen entering the 3rd and 6th floor, searching the rooms, making seizures. A second CCTV footage sequence accessed by Republic shows officers entering the rooms. On a long shot, dressed in white, they can be seen entering the rooms. It's during this raid that NCB seized banned substances from 3 people inside the rooms on board the cruise Cordelia. According to the NCB, during the raids, the visuals of which have now been accessed by Republic, charas was being seized from Munmun Dhamecha, MDMA was seized from Nupur, and other drugs from Avin. Many claims and counterclaims have been made in the seizures on the ship.
क्रूज पे कोई भी सीजर नहीं हुआ। ये सारे वीडियो फोटो बताते हैं कि ये वीडियो जोनल डायरेक्टर के कार्यालय का है। या तो ये पूरा मामला फर्जी बनाया गया है, पब्लिसिटी के लिए बनाया गया है, मामला न्यायालय में है।
Some allegations leveled against the organizations are baseless and seem to have been with malice and probable prejudice that may have been harbored in retaliation against earlier legal action carried out by NCB.
The videos accessed by Republic put an end to the theory that there was no raid. The investigation continues. A Republic exclusive report.
Let me now go across to Shravan, who's also joining us live for more on this. Yes, Shravan, after repeated allegations against the NCB, we have this first footage on our screens right now. These are CCTV footage that we have now accessed from inside the cruise ship and how the raids were really conducted. Take us through the same.
Well, in fact, what does this exactly prove? These 4 CCTV images that have now been accessed by Republic TV clearly goes on to indicate that on 2nd of October, when the searches were basically carried out, it was carried out inside the cruise when it was just about to leave for Goa. That's what we are being told by our sources within the Narcotics Control Bureau, that roughly about 10 Narcotics Control Bureau officers, including 5 punch witnesses, had basically ducked the security that was basically present, and then they entered the cruise. Sources also indicating that essentially the searches were carried out in pinpointed areas. Like, for instance, we are being told that on the 6th floor as well as on the 3rd floor, they had information that passengers were actually carrying banned substances with them. And that is the reason why the moment these officers who entered the cruise, they directly went to the 6th floor and 3rd floor, and the rooms were basically searched. Now, that's in stark contrast to the allegations that have essentially been leveled by a senior NCB leader, Nawab Malik, who's essentially said that these searches were basically not carried out. More importantly, seizures were basically made inside the Narcotics Control Bureau's office in Balad Estate in Mumbai. But it turns out that these searches were actually carried out inside the cruise itself. And not just that, at least from 3 people, banned substances were recovered right inside the cruise itself. That includes Nupur Avin as well as Munmun Dhamicha. Sources basically indicating that even the video footage that has basically been accessed by Republic TV a couple of days ago clearly goes on to indicate that these seizures were basically made inside the cruise. So these are not searches or seizures, or rather, as the allegation has been leveled against the Narcotics Control Bureau, that these were all planted right after they were basically brought inside the NCB office. So these visuals only go on to show the nature of the operation that was carried out by the Narcotics Control Bureau, because they had acted on specific input. So when I actually tried to find out what was the inside story, the inside story is this, that they basically acted on specific input, and after acting on specific input, they ducked the security that was present just outside the cruise, and these 10 officers who had switched off their mobile phones had entered the cruise. They directly went to about 2nd and 3rd floor, and what you see, the CCTV footage is of the 6th and the 3rd floor where the searches were basically carried out.
In fact, Shravan, stay with us and also help us understand the allegations that have also been raised against the NCB's investigation so far, and including the raids we are talking about. There are certain politicians and lobby that have raised questions over the entire investigation, which has been proven wrong once again as far as these videos are concerned, because these allegations also in a way stated that there were no drugs that were recovered in raids as well.
Well, in fact, Richard, there are multiple allegations that have been leveled against the Narcotics Control Bureau, which certainly requires a thorough investigation. And that is exactly why you're looking at the NCB carrying out an inquiry. This is basically being headed by a senior officer of the Narcotics Control Bureau. But looking at a specific sort of allegation that was leveled, because right at the beginning, what was alleged was that there was no seizure that was made. Second, the allegation was that the moment the accused were basically brought to the Narcotics Control Bureau, that is when they planted these banned substances on them, and a fake case was basically registered against those who were arrested. Now, this CCTV footage only proves the contrary. The fact that there was specific input, the fact that there were basically searches that was basically carried out, all that put together, what becomes very, very important here is to basically point out the fact that this was acting on specific input, where the Narcotics Control Bureau had information that passengers who were basically on that very ship or on that very cruise, and they were about to sail towards Goa, and perhaps a rave party would have also taken place where banned substances would have been exchanged. And that is the reason why even before the cruise could leave the docks of Mumbai, that's when the searches were basically carried out. And the CCTV footage clearly shows you that you have the staff members of the cruise just a little ahead, and behind them is roughly about 10 NCB officers. And they were going not into there are multiple floors of that cruise, but they went specifically to the 6th and 3rd floor and perhaps a few other floors, when they had information that once they enter these rooms, perhaps they would be in a position to basically get across, or rather seize these banned substances. And that's exactly what has happened. At least 3 of the accused in this particular case. The seizure was made right inside the cruise, and we have accessed videos of it, and now the CCTV footage of the search and seizure.
Absolutely, and these videos once again should in a way put an end to the theory that has been going around that there was no raid, and the investigation still continues. Many thanks, Shravan, for getting us all those inside visuals as well as this latest update.